Hello, hello, everybody. My name is Yael Rizowy, and I am a Boston Conservatory alumni of 2015, and I am so excited to be hosting the first brunch since 2019. So let's all just give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being here today. Truly, it means a lot. Like I said, this is our first brunch event since 2019, and today we're gonna be not only celebrating and connecting and networking, but we're gonna be addressing the needs of both the college, the conservatory, and Berkeley, New York City. And so like I said, this event is about unifying our communities. We had this amazing merger that happened, and it's continuing to develop, and we're bringing us all together. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous just because, why not? All right, why not, right? Just be a little bit nervous. Get the jitters out. All right, so I'm excited that we have some amazing special guests with us today. We have Michael Shinn, who is the Interim Executive Director of Boston Conservatory at Berkeley. Hello, hello, hi, woo! Oh yeah, let's give a round of applause. We're all performers, we're all artists here. We love the sound of the applause, right? And we also have Berklee James, who is the Program Director for Songwriting and Production at Berkeley, New York City. Hello, Berklee James, yes. Hello, hello. And we have the amazing alumni affairs staff and the incredible trustees and donors. So thank you for putting this event together. A nice round of applause for them as well. We're gonna do a lot of clapping today. And I would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to them for joining us and everybody. So now this event, we're not just gonna sit back and relax, right? I've just made you applause like 1,000 times. But we are all about taking photos and engaging, right? Let's do some social media, let's take pictures, and we can all make this event trend. We're all very trendy people. And you're going to tag BCB alumni. And I'm actually gonna have us take an Ussie, you know, do a little Ellen DeGeneres move right here. I'm gonna take a picture, try to get in. Let's all act like we love each other, which I know we do. All right. I'm gonna take from different angles. That's right. Oh, amazing. Woo, yes, thank you. So I'm gonna tag all of you. That's it, you're gonna get a notification. All right, enough about me, enough of me talking. We do have an incredible morning ahead of us filled with inspiring speakers, fantastic entertainment, and again, I'm gonna plug the food, delicious food. We're gonna be hearing from college alumni Mark Kelley, who is the class of 2003, as well as enjoy an incredible performance from Berkeley, New York City alumni Michelle Rocqet, who I got to hear during sound check, and you guys, just wait, it's amazing. Incredible. But let's start out the celebration with the one, the only, Berklee James. Berklee James is a London-born electronic producer and performer who resides in New York. And over the course of her career, James has collaborated with numerous music trendsetters and shared the stage with a variety of industry icons, while also releasing and touring music of her own. So, pro multitasker over here. And some of those tours include Run DMC, Bobby McFerrin, and Dawn Was. Now, I highly recommend that you listen to her latest single, Orbit, which you can find on Spotify. I wanted to plug your music, it's amazing. But also, Berklee is the program director for songwriting and production here at Berkeley, New York City. So she's a Berkeley alum. Please welcome Berklee James.
Thank you so much, Yael. That was so kind. Hi, everyone, how's it going? What are we voting? Like the bacon, the potatoes, the croissants? It's all just all of it. Yeah. So hi, I'm Berklee. I'm the program director for songwriting and production at BerkleeNYC. It's really wonderful to be here. I'm also a Berkeley alumni, proud Berkeley alumni. Who here is a BerkleeNYC alumni? Make some noise! Yes, hey Alon, how's it going? Small and mighty few, hey you guys! Who has no idea what BerkleeNYC is? So we opened our doors 3 years ago. We are just up the way in Hell's Kitchen. Who recorded at Avatar when it was Avatar? Or awesome. We just got every musical theater album that got nominated for a Grammy was recorded in Power Station. So we got some, yeah. So it was under threat of being ripped down and being turned into condominiums. And through the help of the city of New York and some lovely friends of the college, we were able to save it. And it's now intact, where Diana Ross and David Bowie and Sister Sledge all recorded. And so we're a fully operational studio and a brand new master's program, all in one building. So we've got 3 specializations. Okay, if you're a Berklee alumni, you have to scream really, really loud when I say yours. So we have live music production and design. I will represent for that cohort. Woo! Okay, ready? Writing and design for musical theater. Yeah. And songwriting and production. Yeah. What's really wonderful is every year we have students from Berklee Boston come to continue their education, and we also have students from all over the world come into the Berklee community. And what I see happen in this 1-year master program is truly remarkable. Seeing people do things that could easily take 10 years in 10 months, and going out into the world with these beautiful portfolios of work to start their careers. As an alumni, I just want to close by saying what I've been faculty in Berklee Boston and been a student, and now I'm at BerkleeNYC, and through all these different places, the sense of community is just unparalleled. Who has ever slept on the couch of a fellow Berklee alumni? Yes, this is what I'm talking about. I have certainly spent many nights not cold on the street because of the friends and the community I developed. So, and that's evident here today. And I'm so honored to be part of this with all of you. And I look forward to continue driving the culture forward and supporting one another. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, many times we have, had to sleep on our friend's couch because we are hustlers here, right? The art is not for the faint of heart. But look at us. We've made it here today. We woke up early. I'm sure some of you did sleep on your friend's couch to make it to this event. So amazing. So I would love to talk about our next guest. Talk about a multitasker. He has had this incredible job of being the interim director for Berklee and Boston Conservatory. So it is my distinct pleasure to now welcome to the stage the Conservatory's esteemed Michael Shinn. So prior to his appointment as interim of executive director, he served as the Conservatory's Dean of Music for 6 years. And he saw the music division through the pandemic, spearheading the Silk Road Ensemble residency, partnership with the Boston Lyric Opera, and launching the Study Abroad program for the Conservatory music students at Berklee's Valencia campus. That's huge. So please join me in giving a warm and very enthusiastic welcome to Michael Shinn.
Congratulations to everybody in the room. You're part of this incredible alumni network that is the Berklee alumni. It is a powerful group of incredibly successful musicians, performers, forward thinkers, arts leaders, and we are incredibly proud of everything that you have accomplished and that you will accomplish in your careers. So I think you all need to give yourselves a round of applause, please. And Marilee, I'd like to build on what you said as well, just singing the praises of BerkleeNYC. I saw that there are a couple of folks who aren't totally in the know about what BerkleeNYC is. It's an incredible addition to the larger Berkeley institution. And I started here, as Yael said, barely over 6 years ago. And one of the first things that I learned about at the institution is that we now have Power Station, which is one of the coolest things I could possibly imagine for an institution like Berkeley. And I personally have availed myself in the instrumental studies department of its incredible talent and ability with regard to recording. I brought 2 separate ensembles down to New York City to record in 8K 360-degree video capture, once that was specifically for the instrumental studies students, and once that was a collaboration, which is something we're really trying to encourage here at the conservatory across the larger Berkeley institution. It was a collaboration between the instrumental studies department and the screen scoring department at Berklee College of Music, where we had a competition for students in screen scoring to write new film scores that would then be recorded by superstars from the instrumental studies department. And it was incredibly successful. I encourage you to go to the Berklee YouTube channel because it's all right there and it's really cool. We've been through a lot in the last 6 months as an institution, and I want to start off by saying to you how incredibly confident I am in where we have landed as an institution. There's a lot of interim appointments at the institution, myself included, but I'll start at the top and just walk you through where we've landed. Our president, our interim president and provost is David Bogan. David was hired about 1.5 years ago to become the executive vice president and provost of the institution. I have worked with him quite closely over the last 1.5 years through groups such as the Academic Leadership Council, and I can attest to his brilliance, his big-minded thinking, and his passion for the work that we do at Berkeley. I am deeply confident in his leadership in this interim period of time while we're searching for a new president. Additionally, you may know Betsy Newman, who was the Senior Vice President for Student Engagement and Enrollment, still has that title, but has also now assumed the position of Interim Executive Vice President as well. And the two of them have helped really lead the ship over the last several months, and I'll talk about some of that work here momentarily. Of course, I now have stepped into the interim executive role at the conservatory, and that there's a little bit of a trickle down. We have a new interim dean of music and an interim chair of voice. Brilliant leaders of the arts, and I'm really excited about the direction that we're heading as an institution. Totally confident in where we have landed. I mentioned the presidential search. That is very much happening to find the next innovative leader of Berkeley. Trustee Bill Kaiser is leading that search, and Bill has gone on a binge, a very impressive binge, of connecting one-on-one with key players across the institution. He's had one-on-one lunches with every single one of our trustees, with much of the leadership of the institution, and he's held listening tours with faculty, students, and staff across the board. So he's really trying to solicit information, and I would encourage you, if you have thoughts about who that next person should be, to email, and the email address is studentaffairs@Berklee.edu. Yes, studentaffairs@Berklee.edu, to be able to offer your opinion and thoughts, because we value your perspective as well. I also want to acknowledge the passing of Berkeley's innovative, forward-thinking second president, the namesake of the institution, Lee Berk, who passed away just about 3 weeks ago, tomorrow I believe it was. He was, responsible for the 160 building, or the 150 building, I should say, and also helped establish Berkeley City Music. His vision for the institution was unrivaled, and what he left us is just an incredible institution. We're deeply sad, and for Lee and his family, our thoughts are with them at this difficult time. So I mentioned some of the work that David Bogan and Betsy Newman have been leading. And the big work that we're talking about is the next 6 years. We're looking ahead to the next chapter. And we've broken this down, you may have heard some of this, where the next 2 years, our focus is on developing the mission and vision for the institution, living documents that will inform a strategic direction for the institution for the year 2030. I am incredibly excited about this work. I've been on the strategic planning committee since July working on this, and we've come up with some really, really fantastic draft vision, mission statements. Again, I want your thoughts on this, and you can email that same email address to be a part of those conversations, which we're actively trying to solicit information from every single corner of the institution. So please, step up and offer your thoughts on this. This is for the bigger Berkeley. It's not learning environment focused. It's not just for the college. It's not just for NYC. It's not just for the conservatory. It is for all of Berkeley. So it's a really important step forward in the next chapter of Berkeley. So I'm the leader of the conservatory now. I'm going to take this a little selfishly and talk about what we're doing at the conservatory, just so you all know where we've landed as an institution. We've had so many incredible performances this past year. Our dance production of From the Ground Up, I think, was the best performance I've ever seen the dance division do. Our theater division just presented the musical Sweet Charity. Oh my God, you gotta go. It was just incredible. We have many more coming up as well, and an incredible array of visiting artists who have come through our walls already this year and will be in the future. We have this new series called Opera Innovators, which you mentioned the Boston Lyric Opera collaboration, which I think is really impactful for all of us. BLO is a forward-thinking institution about how they look at contemporary opera, but also traditional opera through a contemporary lens, which is exactly how we see our operatic program unfolding. So it's been great to partner with that organization whose vision and plan is so aligned with what we hold near and dear. But that has led to great singers such as Stephen Smith, the great pedagogue, one of the most prominent voice pedagogy teachers in the entire world. BOCO alum Sandra Peaks-Eddy is going to be with us, and Metropolitan superstar Sasha Cook is going to be with us in January, doing a voice recital and a master class afterwards. So we're incredibly excited about the many visiting artists that are coming through the conservatory walls on a day in and day out basis. Now, I mentioned the larger mission vision work that Berkeley's doing. Dovetailing with that, I've been helping lead the charge to get back to the strategic direction that currently exists for the conservatory. So when I started back in 2017, then Executive Director Kathy Young and I and the rest of our administrative colleagues put together a plan. It took us about 2.5 years to get there. We put together a plan that was the strategic direction for 2025 for the conservatory. You won't be surprised to know that one of the big focus of that strategic direction is realizing the benefits of the merger, which is something we are razor focused on in how we're approaching every decision making artistically and from a curricular perspective. So I've been going back to that plan because it hasn't been fully realized from my perspective, and we're really focused on that. I've been iterating this through faculty, students, staff, administration, trying to figure out, what are the things that we have achieved from that strategic direction? What are the things that we feel like we can let go? What are the things that are missing? And what are the things that we really need to double down and prioritize? And I would say that some of the things that we need to really double down and prioritize are global positioning, which is one of the pillars of the strategic direction, which of course we were hampered by the pandemic, and now we're able to go back out into the world and make a huge difference. Also, focusing on our relationship with Berkeley Online, which, as many of you know, is the world's biggest purveyor of online music education with not a single competitor anywhere near it. And that's something that we at the conservatory are very focused on, because as I said earlier, we're trying very much to focus on collaboration and realizing the benefits of this incredibly unique merger. And also just generally to open up pathways for our students to be able to go across the different learning environments, whether that's college, conservatory, or coming down to New York City, going to Valencia, like we've opened up this study abroad program. This is really important to us at the conservatory, and I think it's really important to the larger institution that is Berkeley. So I mentioned collaboration across the whole institution, and I've already talked a little bit about some of the work that we've done with Berklee.NYC, which I hope only continues because we think the world of what you all are doing there. And man, those recordings are fantastic. So if you haven't seen them, please check them out. But also, we've been developing a deeper partnership with the relatively new Africana Studies division at Berkeley. Now, this is a pan-institutional division that is now led by the great Emmett Price, Reverend Dr. Emmett Price, who is, a visionary leader in thinking about Africana studies as it relates to the performing arts, especially in the Boston area. We at the Conservatory have welcomed Africana studies to reside in our buildings at the Conservatory, and the partnerships that we've had from a curricular perspective with Africana studies, from an artistic and programming perspective with Africana studies, have been incredibly valuable for the student experience. We've got renovated curriculum that is required for students in music. We have opened up new artistic programming, interdisciplinary. There's a new Africana Studies Learning Center that is having a huge impact on the community there in Boston. So I'd encourage you all to come back and see what we're doing with Emmett and the rest of his incredible team. Very briefly, I'll just say conservatory enrollment and philanthropy is going gangbusters. Every single year, we report this to the board, that our enrollment numbers just continue to go up. And right now, year over year, we're up 16% in applications, which is incredible because that's been a consistent ride all the way through since the beginning of the merger. So that merger has benefited the conservatory in tremendous ways from an enrollment perspective, I believe. And then philanthropically, and I'll shout out to Greg Gordon and to Joe Dreesen and the rest of the whole team here. We're already 2/3 of the way through our philanthropic goals for the academic year 24. We're just midway through the first semester, and that goes all the way through to the end of May. We've raised $2 million, and our goal is $3 million. So we're gonna get there, and we're gonna get there very fast. And I shout out to these teams for their incredible work in that. Round of applause, please. That includes a new vocal arts fund for which we've already raised $130,000 to support visiting artists and also student travel to go to young artist programs and competitions. It includes a $250,000 gift from the family of one of our longtime supporters, Anthony Manganero, who sadly passed away this fall as well. And it includes a new bequest from Faith Clark, who was a conservatory alum who had graduated in 1950 from the dance division, who left us a bequest of over $1 million for the conservatory. So it's been a really incredible few months from a philanthropic perspective for the conservatory, and I'm really proud of all the work that everybody has been doing. In closing, folks, I want to engage all of you at this institution. We really appreciate the work that you're doing in your careers after you've graduated from Berkeley, and we want to be able to engage with you as much as we possibly can. There's that phrase, time, talent, and treasure. How can you give back? What are ways that you can support the current students? And if it's time and talent, we want it. There are ways for you to engage with the community in really substantial ways, and I want to encourage you to think about perhaps coming back to Career Jam, which, how many of you ever participated in Career Jam? Oh, I think it's April, the beginning of April, we have a thing called Career Jam that we host at Berkeley where it's all day. We bring in industry experts, whether that's alums or others, to work with our students, and it is incredibly impactful for them. Engaging with you all through Career Jam is an incredible way for you to come back and to engage with the community. So I'd encourage you to do that. And if you have any questions about that, again, for the third time, I'll come back and say student affairs at Berklee.edu. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for what you're doing for the world. We believe in the alumni network of Berkeley. We believe that you all are the artistic change makers and leaders of the future, and we want to encourage you to continue down that path. Thanks so much.
Woo, yes, perfect. Well, we have now come to the point of our brunch where we're gonna hear some music, and I'm gonna be welcoming to the stage Michelle Rocqet. So while Michelle is setting up, Michelle is an alternative R&B artist, a producer, musical theater writer, and educator. A founding member of her band, Michelle has also developed and taught curriculum in the Denver public school system for over 6 years in more than 5 subjects. And she has a following of nearly 100,000 people on TikTok, where she creates hilarious musical content. And if that weren't enough, Michelle recently received her master's degree in writing and design for musical theater from Berklee, New York City. Woo, yeah. I mean, you have done so much. So without further ado, Please help me welcome to the stage, Michelle Rocqet.
Thank you, Yael. So I wrote this song recently, and it's really about falling in love, which at whatever big age you get, how many ever relationships you get into, how many ever breakups you do, it's still terrifying. And like a lot of good things in life, the important things are right on the other side of just being absolutely terrified. Boy, I've been thinking, I've just been living, oh, something is missing. Think it's you kissing on me. Come a little closer, let's see. I'll admit I've been crushing, ruby red blushing, got a craving for something. Must be your loving so sweet. Kiss me till I can't breathe. 'Cause I never knew it could be something like this. When I go to open my mouth, I just seem to miss. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm so terrified to talk at all. 'Cause what if you go? What if you change your mind? So I just keep it all inside. Suddenly I'm believing, even some dreaming got me all in my feelings. Baby, whenever you're near, I'll have nothing to fear. Yeah, your touch has me spinning. It's like I've been winning. No, nothing is missing. Don't wanna leave you at all. Catch me as I fall. 'Cause I never knew it could be something like this. When I go to open my mouth, I just seem to miss. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm so terrified to talk at all. So what if you go? What if you change your mind? So I'll just keep it all inside. Cause I'm at a loss for words, and I'm so terrified to talk at all. But you gotta know, I'll never change my mind, so I can't keep it all inside. Give it up for Mike Moore on the guitar, another Berklee alum. So, my whole life, Berklee has been the dream school. I grew up singing a lot, mostly in choir and musical theater and stuff like that. And when I was 17, I desperately wanted to audition. And being a singer is a pretty hard sell when your parents are immigrants, So my parents refused to pay for the application fee, and I missed the audition. I ended up, going to really wonderful school and meeting really wonderful people. And I was in bands for a long time. And it wasn't, until kind of more recently that I have understood my relationship to technology a little bit more. And what I love about Berklee and what I love about the program and just the general idea and philosophy is the intersection of art and technology. There's just a lot. There's a lot of buttons. There's a lot of faders. There's a lot of things that can go wrong and that have gone wrong. And you're really dependent on something else. I've always just been kind of a park and barker, which is just like I just sit and sing with the guitar play usually. But I think I realized all modern music is like the creative misuse of technology. Like we only get to the next part of music and of culture through pushing that kind of thing. So this last one that we're gonna do is on this looper, and I first started looping when I was still in my early 20s and much younger, and could spring from things like that. But I would just be in warehouses and loop on this really bad guitar loop pedal, or this bad guitar delay. Actually, it wasn't even a loop pedal. And the scary thing about looping is that it's relenting, and there's something I think so poetic about that, something that reminds me of New York. It's just your mistakes, they don't define you, but you just sort of you have to move on with your life, and you have to accept and forgive yourself pretty instantly, which might be what's happening right now. I don't know. There might be some mistakes in here, and we're just gonna have to go with it. This is a cover by the incredible Nina Simone, arranged a little bit by Kimbra, but this is Plain Gold Ring. I like that bell got in there. Thank you so much.
Wow, another round of applause for Michelle and Mike Moore. Wow. And I have to say, you know, the music, just what you were talking about, Michelle, right? You were like, oh, happy accidents and whatnot, and we got to hear a bit of a happy accident, right? There was a clanging of some silverware, and it just worked perfectly with this. I don't know if you guys heard that little bell in there. Also, you were so in the pocket. I know what in the pocket is. I may know musical theater, but I know what in the pocket is. But that you got the highest compliment, both of you. Everyone's face was just like, this is the highest compliment, right? It's just like, that stank face, right? It's just like, yeah, they're in it. So again, well done. Thank you so much for that. And let's make those TikTok followings higher, right? I mean, well deserved, right? Well deserved, seriously. Oh my goodness. Well, this next person that I'm about to introduce really does not need an introduction, but I said, I'm gonna do it anyway. So our next guest moved to this great city nearly 20 years ago after attending Berklee College of Music on a scholarship. Now, his talent, dedication, and passion would pave a path to immense success, playing and touring with many acclaimed artists. Now, some of you may know him for his expressive facial features when he's playing in the pocket, and many know him as a member of The Roots, where his infectious bass grooves are heard by millions on TV on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. But we know him as a very active and supportive member of our vibrant alumni community. So please help me give another warm, huge welcome to Mark Kelley. Woo!
So when I was asked a few months ago to do this, I wondered, what could I say to a room full of artists that they haven't already thought about? And the answer is absolutely nothing, because you think about absolutely everything. So the only thing that I could think that would be helpful is to tell a little bit about myself, my story, and just the overall theme of that, which is something that I think that somebody in here might need to hear or want to hear or will encounter later. I start by asking if anybody is familiar with the term or the word MacGuffin. Has anybody heard of that before? If anybody, the people who have not heard of that, it was something that was developed by a great film producer and director named Alfred Hitchcock. And the purpose of it was to string the audience through the film. It helps us to understand the story, the development of characters, and all types of things. So in essence, it's a ticking time bomb that never goes off. It just dissipates. So as an example, you could have a diplomat who's traveling from New York City to Washington, D.C. to develop some sensitive information, and he's gonna travel by train. He goes into Penn Station, puts down his duffel bag to buy a cup of coffee, and while he does that, this character that only the audience sees enters the screen and puts this ticking time bomb in the diplomat's bag and exits the scene before he sees it, or we're the only ones that are aware that this happened. Now we're focused on the bag. Diplomat takes his bag, gets on his train, and can't find anywhere to put his bag. And he looks, finds his seat, and right over a family of five, a beautiful family of five, there is a spot for him to put his duffel bag, and that's where he puts it. Goes back to his seat, falls asleep. His stop is Washington, D.C. This family's stop is before that. While he's sleeping, they get off of the train and accidentally take his duffel bag with them. And now we're focused on what's gonna happen. When is this bomb gonna go off? And while that's happening, we're learning about this family and we're learning about everything. This is the MacGuffin. Ultimately, the bomb never goes off because other things in the story start to come to life, which take our focus off of that MacGuffin, and this is how we get to enjoy the story. I often attribute our talents, our passions, our abilities to this MacGuffin, as it's the thing that strings us through life, only it never dissipates. So I guess the overall point of what I'm gonna say is to always stay the course. Never deviate under no circumstance. So when I first started, my father is a classical pianist and my mother is a physician. And I came from this house of education and excellence is what we need to do. And I have other siblings who made great grades, and one sister who's a dentist and another one who is a visual artist but has done a lot of corporate things with that. And then you would go into their rooms, my parents would see them doing their homework, and then they'd open my door and find me playing an air guitar solo to Live in Color's Cult of Personality. Their smiles would often melt when they would see me doing these things because they just felt, what is he gonna do? I had a course and I followed it. I had tried to play piano, I was horrible. I tried to play the cello, still horrible. I tried to play the guitar and was not great. But for some reason, when I found a bass guitar, everything changed. There was this light that turned on. I knew that it was something that I was supposed to do. I got a bass guitar for one Christmas morning, and the following day, I was now a bass player in a heavy metal band. That led on to me playing in school, in middle school, and going to a performing arts high school. I auditioned, and I was rejected. I failed the audition. So I thought maybe if that wasn't the thing for me to do, I was about to change my course. I decided I was gonna try to play another instrument, do something else, and I had assumed this new identity all summer. I'm about to be a guitar player now, and I'm gonna do my thing. And then a week before school started, I was called back to this school to re-audition because there was now space for me to join. So I auditioned, and now I was in this performing and visual arts high school in Houston. That set me up for the next 8 years of my life. I played there, and then I went to Berklee. I got accepted to Berklee, and then once I was close to graduating and decided that I'd been getting a lot of calls, and I was just kind of ready to leave and go on the road and do some touring. I didn't finish. I didn't get my degree. I left, and I moved to New York City. I started playing with this guitarist named John Schofield, and I went on the road with him in his Uber Jam band for a few years, and that kind of dropped me in New York City. After that happened, I was in New York, and I found that New York wasn't a very kind place to musicians who were just trying to figure it out, playing in bars and trying to make a living. It was very difficult to do. And I started to have these thoughts, it's time for me to maybe just leave, go back home, start over again. I started having these thoughts, and as they started getting more and more serious, a manager for a bar I was working in walks up to me and he says, "Hey, I found this lady outside and I asked her if she wanted to come in and watch the band." She introduced herself and her name was Michelle Rocqet. For those of you who know who she is, for those of you who don't, she's a wonderful artist. I'd urge you to check her out. I ended up working with her for 10 years after that. I mean, I still worked with her to the present. Once again, I was trying to deviate from my path and I got pushed back onto my path. I worked with her for years, and then once again, I started to get in this place where I was looking at all my peers from Berklee and some other people that I knew, and I felt like everybody else was so much further along than I was. And I felt like I should be further ahead than I am, and I wasn't. I felt that way, and again, I was ready to pack up and start over again and move back to Texas. I called my parents, and this time I was going a little bit further. I said, I'm ready to come back home and just try to see what I can do. If I can try to restart again. I flew home, and I was gonna go to Austin to try to find a place to live, check it out. En route to Austin, my one last gig that I had left at a club, at a bar in New York, I got called and they said, listen, this guy, he's starting to play with all the other bands here and he wants your night too. My last gig, this is the last thing I have. It's going, okay, fine. So I said, you know what, I'm moving to Austin anyway. I don't care, I let it go. I moved on. About 10 minutes after I pulled into the parking lot in Austin, I get a phone call right after I checked in to this hotel where somebody asked me, was I interested in joining The Roots at NBC with Jimmy Fallon. said, absolutely. So now I talked to my father, and he's like, well, you're going back to New York. You're not coming to Houston. So I went back to New York again. There's always been this thing, this force, this energy that is always, I like to call that energy God. I don't know what anybody else likes to call it, but you can call this energy whatever you like. But that energy has always kind of been around to keep me from diverging off this path. So now I'm at Fallon, and everything is great, everything feels good. I have no problems or worried about my career or anything of that nature, and then the pandemic hits. And there was all these issues. I'm sorry I'm glazing over a lot of issues because I have a very short window of time to speak, so I'm trying to say a lot of things here. But the pandemic hit, and now the issue of job security became a serious concern for me. What happens when all of this ends, you know? And so I started to do this thing where my wheels start spinning. What can I do? Maybe I should go to college and try to figure out something else. So strangely enough, I started going to college again, and I started taking these biology courses because I had this genius idea that because I always said that if I wasn't a musician, I'd be a doctor. And those who know me probably would laugh so hard if they heard me say that. But I was going to school and I was going to train to become a CRNA, if anybody knows what that is. That's a registered nurse anesthetist. So I was going to be in charge of putting people under and doing something of this nature, which was crazy. But at any rate, I was starting to do this, and it led me in all these circles, right? And one thing was that I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, then that means I have to stop doing music, and I don't think that's the call. So what's going to be the next thing? And then it turned into maybe I could do something, you know, with telemental health or something. I was like, all right, well, maybe that. I looked into it, no. And in one of my classes, this kid started talking to me about coding. Another thing, I have no idea. It was like computer programming. It was like, that sounds like it's for me. This is all happening while I'm working here at NBC, by the way. This is still something that's going on in my head. I'm still diverging from this path, even though I'm here and on it. I went and as I was researching, there was this idea that, hey, if you have a degree, this could be something that you could go even further with. So I'm thinking, all right, a degree, I need to get a degree. So then, again, I got pushed back into the path, and I went back to Berklee, and I finished my bachelor's degree this past September. So, I know this is a real roundabout story and real crazy and all over the place, but my point in all of it is that no matter what, there are so many times I tried to diverge from this path that I've been on because I wasn't making enough money, or because there are others that are further ahead, or I felt that I should be further ahead than where I am. And that couldn't be further from the truth. The reason that we're all here, as Steven Tyler said at my graduation, the reason that you're all here is because you're not all there. And I think that if we're all crazy enough to be here, it's because we followed a passion. And there's going to be times where we're going to feel like it's going to be best to leave this passion alone and move on to somewhere else or try something new. But I urge you, under no circumstance, for you to deviate from your path. I leave with this one quote from James Baldwin, which is, "There is reason after all that some people wish to colonize the moon and others dance before it as an ancient friend." My takeaway, there's a lot in that statement, but what my takeaway is that there can be two people who can be looking at the same thing. And because of their worldview, because of their intentions, because of their experiences, we can have different interpretations of that one thing that we see. And that one thing that we can see sometimes is our career path, and we can be those two different people at the same time. So I urge you to be the one that dances before your path as an ancient old friend, as opposed to going the other direction and throwing it away. Thank you.
Wow. I'm feeling very inspired. Thank you for that. I have no doubt that everyone now just feels that energy source and is feeling super motivated. So thank you, Mark, so much. Well, what a wonderful note to end on. I'm just gonna say a couple more things, but then let's continue this party and mingle and keep sharing this excitement. Some of you may be like, why is she wearing two scarves right now? Well, These scarves could be yours, I have to say. We are, this is the Boston Conservatory one. I'll do a little show. And then this is the Berklee one. These could be yours for as low as $30, right out in the front. It's getting cold. I will say the money is going to the school. So you're supporting the community and whatnot. I'm gonna be a little bit of a New York mother right now. It's getting cold. We're singers, we're artists. Oh, cover it up. I would, but I'm gonna, my mic is hot. So that's really it. I just want to say thank you all for coming. Another round of applause for the affairs community and organization for putting this together. Being here really has made us stronger. Like just the fact, I know I've harped on this a bit, but just the fact that you all showed up really does mean a lot. That is how the alumni community continues to grow. It's word of mouth, it's through video, it's through listening to amazing music, to inspirational stories like this. And in New York, it can be really tough to be an artist. Really, really tough. And the fact that we are here together and connecting, whether you've known the person, whether you're just meeting them for the first time, that is a wonderful way to support the school, support one another. If you do have any questions or you're like, you know what, I think this would be amazing for our program, please feel free to reach out to the alumni committee with any questions, any comments, just kind of what Michael was saying. We really do want to hear your thoughts and how to make these events bigger and better and more exciting, right? I mean, we have an amazing turnout today, but our school is huge. I mean, we have so many different campuses all over the world, so it'd be even better if we can get more and more people at these events. But that is it from me. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the food. We have so much more left, so yay, a round of applause to you all.